Hey, this is Aaron Arnett with Arnett Muldrow and Associates, and my firm is leading the Envision New Kent County Strategic Plan in conjunction with the county and Hill Studio. In this video, I'm going to give you an overview of the online survey, which was a key piece of the ongoing public input that we've been having throughout this process. We've had great participation in this survey, which will be detailed in the final report documentation, but I'm going to give you a quick overview here. The survey went live on February 24th after our kickoff workshop, and then it closed June 19th. And during that time, we had 1,035 responses, which represented nearly 5% of the county population. This is really a great sample overall. The survey had questions on community character, perceptions of things like governance and quality of life and infrastructure. It asked people about their general vision of the county in the next 20 years, and then also about specific needs that residents feel are lacking within the county. The survey was promoted on the Envision New Kent County Facebook page, local social media outlets, the county's various social media outlets, and then also through postcard mail out to area residents. The first question that we asked on the survey is, what is your home residence zip code? So basically, where do you live? And you can see on this chart that about 27% of those respondents live in the New Kent zip code 23124, followed by 23% that live in the Quinton zip code. So just about 50% live in those two zip codes. If we look at the breakdown of response per 1,000 population of the different zip codes, we can see the largest response rate per population was in Barhamsville. But overall, we got a good cross section of participation from the entire county. The next question we asked was, what is your reason for being in New Kent County? And you can see here that 93% of respondents live in New Kent County. So that's a really good sample of county residents. Note that people could respond to more than one of these. So for example, perhaps they live, but they also work in New Kent County. For example, 19% of respondents work in the county, and this actually mirrors the commuting patterns of the market analysis. In other words, the majority of people who have jobs go outside of New Kent County for their jobs, and I detailed that in the market study that I shared previously. Other connections that people have to the county they were former residents, perhaps they have family in the county, and then we had a number of high school students also participate in the survey. Next, we asked people to give 3 words or phrases they felt best describe the character and personality of New Kent County. So in other words, what makes New Kent County a special place? And you can see in the word cloud the top responses here. The primary response with over 250 people mentioning it was rural, the rural character of county. Next was they felt like it was a friendly county. Over 150 people noted that. Next was they felt that it was a quiet county. Again, over 100 people felt like New Kent County was a very quiet and quaint place. Other common responses included peaceful, beautiful, country, growing, historic, natural, and some others. We asked people how positive of an image they think that people in the region have of New Kent County. And this question really was asking respondents what they feel outsiders think about the county. And you can see here that 62% felt like outsiders have a general positive perception of the county. And they specifically mentioned the peaceful character of the county, the rural nature of the county. 28% felt like outsiders have a neutral perception or no perception at all. This isn't surprising considering New Kent County is sandwiched between two metropolitan areas. Just 10% felt like outsiders have a negative perception of the county, and they called out the remoteness of the county potentially impacting that perception, traffic on I-64 as outsiders move throughout the county, the growth of the county, and some folks felt like that outsiders thought the county's poor. And of course, that's not the case when we look at the median income levels within New Kent County compared to adjacent areas. And you can check the market study video for some more detail on that. The next question was asking people what specific places within New Kent County would they recommend to a person visiting the county for the first time. And so basically, what are the favorite places that you have in New Kent County? And at the top of the list were the wineries that we have in the county. Colonial Downs was mentioned, and then historic sites. And overall, there were some common themes about some specific destinations within the county, the historic character and heritage of the county itself, and our outdoor recreation assets that we have throughout the county. Next was, what do you feel is the biggest misconception people have about New Kent County? So this question is really about things that outsiders may think about the county that aren't true. And the answers here confirm some of the negative comments of the perception question mentioned earlier, but it's interesting to note that there's also some conflicting perceptions in here. So some of the things that respondents felt like outsiders think about the county that aren't true is that the county might be country or backwoods or poor. Or on the flip side of that, that outsiders may feel that the county is more wealthy because of all the newcomers that are coming into the county. Perhaps a misconception is that it's remote. I mean, we know that this is not the case considering how close you are to Richmond. And it was interesting, some of the conflicting comments were about that the county does have a plan and vision for the future, whereas others felt like the county doesn't have a plan and vision for the future. And of course, that's why we're going through this process right now. And then another interesting comment was about the misconception of the county being the second fastest growing county in the state. While that may be true, what does that mean in reality? We are still a small county. We still have some infrastructure challenges, even with this fast growing growth that we're having. The next series of slides asked respondents what their perception of the community is based on some specific areas like quality of life or infrastructure or governance, etc. We asked people to rank key themes in each one of those categories from one, very poor, to five, excellent. And you can see here the results of quality of life. And overall, the things that rated the highest were safety, New Kent County as a great place to live and a great place to raise children, and really just the general overall quality of life in the county. The things that rated the lowest was availability of healthcare, availability of jobs and places to work or places to operate a business. Some other comments that came out in this question were that people felt the need to upgrade our broadband infrastructure. And that's really recognizing that broadband and internet is not just an economic development element, it's also something that impacts our quality of life. Lack of affordable housing was mentioned, and also already mentioned lack of healthcare opportunities. Next, we asked people to rank the cultural opportunities within the county. So things like education, institutions like libraries or museums, activities and programming, and those sorts of things. The things that rated the highest in this question were K through 12 education and opportunities for religious activities within the county. The things that ranked the lowest were continuing and higher educational opportunities, programs for seniors, and those sorts of things. Sample of comments, people felt like the schools are good and very underrated. Um, People felt like we needed more adult daycare. And some folks felt like the child care that we do have in the county is a little bit too expensive at the moment. The next question was about the overall governance and specifically the different departments within the county. And you can see here that the departments that ranked the highest were fire and rescue and the sheriff's department. The areas that ranked the lowest were value of services for taxes paid and the planning and economic development department. And I think the reason for that is simply the rapid growth that we've seen within the county over the last 10 or 15 years. A sample of some of the comments: people felt like they weren't very familiar with these departments or services and have uh, limited contact with the various departments, and the need for improved communication was a common theme throughout this particular question. Some people felt like we need more progressive leadership, that the Board of Supervisors may be a little bit more reactive. Others felt like we do have progressive leadership. And I think this really points to some of the conflicting perceptions that residents have within the community of the county government. Next, we asked about the economic environment. So this would be economic development, the overall status of the business community. The things that ranked the highest in this question were the overall quality of businesses and the economy. Things that ranked the lowest really related more to the things that we lack in the county, like shopping, like employment, like dining, or like even programs to retain the businesses that we have. Some of the comments that were brought up here was they felt like that expansion from a business standpoint is slow, in particular if we compare that to the rapid growth of residential that we've had over time. Most people have to leave New Kent County right now to shop. Some folks felt like that we have too many chain businesses here already. A comment was brought up about being too dependent on Colonial Downs, and then needs for things like lodging or restaurants or grocery stores were brought up quite a bit in this question. We asked about transportation, and the things that ranked the highest here was overall traffic circulation throughout the county. The gateways that we have in the county, folks felt like were attractive gateways. The things that ranked the lowest were access to public transportation, bike friendliness, and walkability. Um, some folks felt like the roads weren't necessarily well maintained. People did bring up a lot about the lack of sidewalks that we have outside of our neighborhoods, and felt like we don't have a safe walking environment overall. And then again, lack of public transportation options came up quite a bit, not just in the survey, but also in the visioning roundtables that we had previously. Next, we asked about the built environment. So getting people to rank the overall character and design and types of buildings within the county. The things that ranked the highest were preservation of historic buildings and overall home maintenance. The things that ranked the lowest were quality of the commercial development that we've had over the past 15 years, the lack of public space for our citizens to enjoy, and the lack of affordable housing. People felt like the homeowners associations that we have within the county do a really good job of maintaining their developments. And then the flip side of that was that some of our newer developments may be quote unquote cookie cutter in their character. Um, and then wrapping back around to the lack of affordable housing for younger adults, for professionals, and even elderly. We need to realize that with the fact that we do have an aging population, and maybe we have a need for apartments and housing for seniors. Finally, with the ranking questions, we asked people about infrastructure and the overall infrastructure that we have in the county. And you can see here the things that rank the highest is our electric utility that we have in the county, garbage collection, and things that rank the lowest were access to broadband internet and access and quality of the cellular phone system. Both of those really were a common theme across the board throughout this whole process, and is very important to not only economic development, as I mentioned before, but also the quality of life, also public engagement, also tourism. So that element of infrastructure is critically important to the future of the county. We asked, what are the three biggest strengths of New Kent County? And the top responses you can see here on this word cloud are our rural character, our location, and our access and proximity to our adjacent metropolitan areas and the things that they offer, the overall people and the friendliness that we have here in the community, and our natural resources, our land, and the beautiful character that we have within New Kent County. The flip side of the strengths question is, what are the three biggest weaknesses of New Kent County? And the responses here really reflected the things that we lack within the county, things like businesses or restaurants or grocery stores or overall shopping and the variety of shopping and those sorts of things. Broadband came up quite a bit in this question as well. Also, people felt like there's certain things that we have too much of, which is a weakness in the county. Perhaps it's growth and development. Perhaps it's the traffic that we have in the county. Some people mentioned the dollar stores that we have in the county and some of the chains that we have. We asked people to describe their vision of New Kent County in 2040. This Envision New Kent County strategic plan is a 20-year plan, so we asked people to look over that 20-year horizon and describe what New Kent County is in 2040. And you can see some of the answers that are here on this page. But overall, there were themes about preserving our rural character and managing our growth. And then again, specifically some of the needs that we have. Some of the key comments that came out were New Kent County in 2040 will be a progressive community with skilled and professional labor opportunities, having a balance of tax revenue from residential, commercial, and industrial uses. New Kent County will be a livable, quality location comprised of natural spaces, which is not overly developed nor excessively commercialized. New Kent County will be a place where economic vitality interacts with safe and wholesome lifestyle. And again, you can see some of the other comments here on this page. The final series of questions were asking people about needs within the county. And some of this, particularly retail businesses, which is this question, we can overlay with the findings of the market research. So what types of retail businesses are needed? The things that ranked the highest in terms of needs were family-friendly restaurants, grocery stores, family-friendly entertainment, and fine dining restaurants. The things that ranked the lowest were fast food restaurants, overall nightlife, those types of retail establishments. We did ask people about other things that weren't listed on here. And again, grocery came up again here, but not just the lack of grocery, but the quality of grocery. And then there was a lot of comments about local establishments versus chains, and the need for local businesses. However, a lot of chains were actually mentioned in needs that we have within the county. We also asked about the types of services that are needed within the county. And you can see here that medical services, doctor and urgent care ranked as the highest in terms of needs. The VCU urgent care facility hopefully is meeting some of those needs. Senior services and public transportation also ranked highly. Law offices and co-working spaces and conference facilities ranked the lowest. Uh, Broadband and internet came up throughout the comments. Hotels came up throughout the comments. Services like gymnasiums and spas, parks, they all ranked fairly highly in this question as well. We also asked about what types of residential uses are needed within the county. You see hotel ranks fairly high. We know that we have a overall lack of lodging within the county right now. Also ranking high was mixed use development with residential, with retail, with office uses combined. Perhaps this is a realization that mixing uses and providing more density and quality developments can help preserve that rural character that we enjoy. Um, Lots of this discussion about development and rural character and what rural means to New Kent County will be part of the community design workshop that's going to begin on June 22nd. Ranking lowest were things like short-term rental and apartments. And then some of the comments that you see here, again, things like senior housing and affordable housing came up quite a bit. We asked about the types of public spaces, activities, and cultural opportunities that are needed within the county. And the things that ranked the highest here were recreation, whether it be passive recreation, such as hiking and biking trails, whether it be access to the river. whether it be overall parks and recreation and programming. The things that ranked the lowest were art galleries and museums and perhaps even public art. And that might be because we do have access to those sorts of assets within our neighboring metropolitan areas. We asked about how people hear about the different activities and events in New Kent County and how they generally know about what's going on. And people hear about things through word of mouth, relatives or friends primarily, but also through social media, through the New Kent County and other various social media uh, outlets that we have. I think this is a testament. The answers to this question is a testament that today there's really no singular perfect way to get the word out. We had a series of questions that asked about the demographics of the respondents within the survey, including age, gender, income, and ethnicity. You can see the detail of those answers here, but the key takeaways really were that the respondents were a little bit older than the county makeup right now, a little bit more female, on par with income and on par with ethnicity in terms of white versus other ethnicities. However, nearly 10% didn't answer this question. Overall, it was a good sample. As I mentioned earlier, nearly 5% of the population responded to the survey. Geographic coverage that I mentioned on slide 3 was very good throughout the county. Demographically, it's not one to one, but it never is. And overall, we did have great response, and I think the promotional efforts that were done really were able to improve the overall makeup of the responses themselves. So that wraps up the overview of the online survey. Of course, there's going to continue to be other options for people within the county to participate in this process. The next one is the community design workshop that's going to be beginning June 22nd, Monday, June 22nd. This is going to be a 2-week virtual workshop. It's going to be talking about design and development specifically, and really what is rural character and growth, and what does that mean to the county. It's going to be a virtual workshop, but there's going to be plenty of opportunity for live community engagement during the workshop, so it's going to be very interactive. We're going to have 3 public meetings over the course of those 2 weeks on the Envision New Kent County Facebook page. And then we're also going to have a companion virtual studio with detail on design recommendations with the growth development strategies. That is going to be envisionkc.com, and that will go live on Monday, June the 22nd as well. If you haven't yet followed the Envision New Kent County Facebook page, I would encourage you to do that to get more information about this process, but also event notifications about the community design workshop that's to come. And other than that, I appreciate your time in this video, and we hope to see you at the workshop. Thank you.